There are seven things you need to avoid in a woman. In MGTOW, you've come to some kind of realization that relationships, women, and maybe the way you are interacting with women, you just fed up with it. You've gone your own way. But you know, I think it's completely unrealistic for most people to just stay gone. And I'm sure that some of y'all, or most of y'all, haven't given up hope in finding a long, successful relationship. So these are things you need to avoid while you're on your grind, building yourself up uh, in the eight healths. And if you don't understand what those eight healths are, just look at the video that I made on it, and hopefully it'll help you understand it. I'm just alluding to it. I don't really want to waste time going back explaining that. Let's get right into it. Um, Usually, the first thing you will see is if a woman completely relies just on her physical beauty. She'll be the type of woman you see that's dressed scantily most of the times, a lot of makeup, always seem to be on the party scene. Um, they, you know, for the most part, those type of women can only offer sex. They can't cook, they can't clean, and most of the times you see those type of women. If you engage, you're attracted to the woman that that's dressed like that. Usually, you have to approach those type of women with the mindset of smash and dash, or have fun and run. Um, so be mindful, be aware, wary with those type of women. If you're looking for a long-term relationship, possibly marriage, things like that, these women typically have nothing to offer. Um, they constantly need validation is the second one. If you encounter the type of woman, that constantly need validation, she usually have low self-esteem. It usually ties in with the way they dress as well. Um, she would probably have nothing going on with her life um, outside of advertising her body. Um, you know, those type of women, of course, I go back to the way they dress. You know, if she looks like she's coming out of a strip club, like she's dressed as though that she works at a strip club, but she lives in a strip club. You know, a lot of times these type of women need validation too. Not all strippers really, actually, strippers a lot of times they have a lot of confidence, and some of them are actually doing some things with their life. I just use a reference because most women that dress like strippers are not necessarily strippers, but they took on the persona of one, um, not necessarily working in that field. Um, so those of you who are strippers, I'm not saying that y'all are, y'all fit in this category. It's just how you're imitated. One of my closest friends was a stripper, made the news and all that stuff. Um, she now builds airplane wings with advanced composite materials for, you know, I think Lockheed Martin. So, making big dollars doing that, but it's something she enjoys doing as well. And use the stripper money to pay for school and things like that. And I know a few other people indirectly who strip, but they, a lot of confidence and whatnot about them. So if the women you encounter needs validation, they usually have a lot of low self-esteem. Um, it becomes a burden to you as a man, especially if you're in MGTOW, because you've come to understand you don't owe any woman anything. Um, and I'm not saying being a dickhead or an asshole. You can still be a gentleman and all that, but you don't really owe her above and beyond the required um, validation, or just you ask her out. So that in itself, if she's not smart enough to understand, you wouldn't ask out if you weren't attracted to her or she wasn't worth something to you, regardless if it's just sex. She would understand. She should not be able to understand that unless she doesn't really have any kind of knowledge or education or anything other than, you know, low self-esteem and her body. The other thing you got to look at is, and you'll probably encounter this one if you continue the relationship with this person, you don't really see, they probably don't dress, you know, the part. They don't really need validation. But if this woman comes along and they always need you available, like it's a needy thing, you gotta get up early in the morning to go to work, but she broke down somewhere and want you to get up out of your sleep to come take care of whatever situation she's in, without consideration of the fact that you out there making money to be a provider and a protector. And you know, she put herself in a situation probably not even coming from work, you know, it's just something. No consideration to call maybe the insurance company or maybe AAA, or you know, leaving the car there, calling an Uber, getting a ride home wherever she live, and then addressing the car issue in the morning, or whatever reason. You know, she just needs you to be available at all times. If you, for instance, wake up in the middle of the night, 1, 2 in the morning, knowing you gotta get up at 3, get up at 3 or 4 in the morning to go to work for 12, 14 hours because you in MGTOW and you've leveled yourself up where you actually have a career going, and you're building that, the stereotypical high value man situation. You know, you gotta think in your mind, if you do that, that's simping. If you do it once, you can get a pass for that. If you start doing, if it's expected of you all the time and you continue to do that, you're a simp. The relationships will not work, and you'll be right back in MGTOW. You might be happier, you might even be still fulfilled because you have MGTOW knowledge, but if you don't change your mindset on how you're being treated, nothing will change. But now that you know, if you always have to be available to this woman, avoid this type of woman because they do not value your time or consider anything, you know, they consider you in any of the situations that they're in. Avoid those women. You also got to avoid women who won't compete for you. And if you're an average guy, you work a 9 to 5, you bring in about $40,000-$50,000 a year. You may not have a house or whatever. You know, you're just an average cat. But you have options as far as women go. You basically got to see what these women, if which woman is willing to compete for you, especially if you're looking for a relationship. Again, if you're just looking for smash and dash type thing, it's not something you need to worry about so much. But if you're looking at this woman to be married to you, then she has to do some things to want you. Some of the things, for instance, like examples of competing for you. Like say you're going out on dates, you're always going out on dates, and she say, hey, you know, let's stay home today, come over to my place, I'll cook you dinner, I'll cook. Those are the type of things you want to look for. Or, you know, we don't need to go out today, you know, I picked up some junk food that you would typically go out to eat. I picked up that, you know, I went to a restaurant, I got some of that food that we like. Let's just come to my place and watch a movie. You know, just chill. Things like that. You wanted to compete for you. Without looking for you, which leads into my next one. If she needs money all the time, that means she's going to be an expense to you. You don't want a woman who presents themselves as an expense. because why bother? There are other women out there. If she's presenting herself as an expense, she doesn't have good money management skills. She's basically living above her current means and expect you to fit the bill for her bad behaviors. And if you do that, you're going to be a simp. MGTOW hasn't done anything for you. Just grow up. That one you really gotta grow a brain on really fast and stay gone from those type of women. Again, if you're looking to smash and dash, fun and run, by all means do that, but don't burn your money needlessly. The other thing, the sixth thing, is if they're looking for a title, maybe girlfriend status, marriage, kind of like in a forced, kind of crazy kind of way. I was in a relationship once where this woman, I was in a relationship with her for a long time too, but she was only interested, she wanted to get married so bad that it turned me off from it altogether. It made me, it popped a red flag, and I'm grateful for that I was conscious enough to pop that red flag and realize, wow, something is off, and something was off. And I am happier for it. So you gotta don't get forced or bullied into making any kind of relationships, especially if you have lifestyle, you have time and money, and you could actually provide this similar lifestyle for women. You don't need her. Stay gone, smash and dash, and have fun and run, whatever you want to do, just be gone. You gotta vet these women appropriately if you're looking for long-term relationships. The final one kind of like sums up all of them. It's selfishness. If a woman is selfish, or she's all about herself, which a lot of these fall under that umbrella of selfishness, just bail. Again, you might have some fun, and run, whatever you may string along, for some intimacy. But if she's selfish, that's the one you want. Those are the type of women you want to avoid. Now, if you have any questions, ask it in the comments section down below. Like, subscribe, share the video if you think it's gonna help someone. These are just a few things to avoid. There's a plethora of things that pops up, but most of it kind of falls under common sense and through basic observances. And in some cases, actually in a lot of cases, your intelligence will then inform you, because you'll feel that stuff instinctually, that something is off, and usually those instincts are correct. So listen to your intuition as well. And even if you were wrong, there are a lot of women out there. Try again, or admit you were wrong to that person and see if they're willing to go at it again. But whatever it is, be willing to go your own way, in the sense that you're not going to be bothered or imprisoned by the fact that this woman is no longer in your life, or you got shut down 100 times, 1,000 times, whatever it is. Stay busy. Look at that video as well, as far as staying busy, and you will be more fulfilled. So I hope this video helps. Like and subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Y'all have a good day.